Today on our show,
Batman v Superman.
longer and thicker than a dick, man.
The Ultimate Edition.
Ultimate luscious edition today on Fat Man on Batman. Hey, we're back. Did you miss us?
Hey, it's us again.
Welcome to Fat Man on Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
Marc Bernardin.
A lot of people thought we were fucking done, man, but we weren't
Did you give
done.
up the ghost? No.
Yeah, no, never. I just went away to do some shit. I went to a film festival, showed yoga hosers, and then went to Paris and London, showed yoga hosers in London. I've been doing some yoga hosers traveling and stuff. Me and Marc went and did a live show in Indianapolis, which was fun, but late night show, man. It was like the witching hour.
Totally.
And shit.
Midnight hour.
We started the show like fucking midnight, and it was packed. And that it's not like Indianapolis, like we got nothing else to do here. They have a race every once in a while. Every 10 minutes, you fucking wait. There's a race going on in Indianapolis, so there's some other shit to do. And we still had a fucking packed house. But motherfuckers like, let's talk comics. But you can hear that show. I don't know if they shot it. I don't know if we got video.
I don't know if they did.
Did they ever post that show or no?
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube.
It is?
Yeah.
There it is.
Check, but I think it is.
Matt checking in, producer Matt. Okay, so never mind where we were. Let's talk about where we are, man. And where we are today is the week that they release Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Ultimate Edition, longest title in the world. Lot of words on that. Skew. Man.
Well, you gotta compensate for 3 hours of movie. You need a longer title.
You're absolutely right. 3 hours of this movie. It was 2 and change in theaters.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 2:20.
They championed the fact that there's an extra half hour in this movie, and there is, I guess. I mean, I've seen some. There's definitely stuff that I was like, well, I don't remember that, so clearly that's new.
Yeah, lots of like clue trail stuff. Lots of Lois figuring out where the bullet is from, and lots of Clark going to Gotham for the first time.
Yeah, which honestly, I saw some people online were like, this makes everything clear. Like it was the Da Vinci Code, and suddenly, like what had been mysterious is now.
Like the words are glowing on the screen. Like, you guys, the letters are moving. Everything makes sense.
There was a reason. Some stuff's cool in terms of the extra stuff, but I didn't feel like I certainly don't understand why they got an R, but I do remember someone saying fuck.
Yeah.
It was incongruous as fuck. It was you're sitting there watching this and suddenly somebody's like, fuck him in the ass. Maybe it wasn't that would have been amazing. Jesus. I would have fucking instantly given the movie like 18 thumbs up.
Jesus,
finally.
Martha. That's a hell of a pep talk.
That would have been the fun.
You don't know this planet anything.
Too.
Fuck him in the ass.
Even better, man. She gets fucking saved by Batman and shit, and she's just yelling from the sidelines, fuck him in the ass! Fuck him in the ass, Dark Knight!
Bruce him in the keister!
Do shit my son would never do on my behalf. He went crazy for his mom in Man of Steel. So maybe do you think in this one they were like, look, we've already done, he went crazy to save his mom, so let's let Batman go crazy to save his mom.
Because he doesn't have a mom, so he's like adopting the crazy mom strategy.
Did you fucking hear that? Honestly, you needed to be in a little egg at the bottom of that screen explaining all the motivations. You would have made me enjoy that movie more. That's kind of cool.
He didn't have a mom.
I didn't really thought about that.
He's adopting the mom rage.
This is why you tune into this show. This is why I do the show. So I can learn about movies I've seen and don't understand, apparently. That's a beautiful way to look at it. So, when, of course, in the movie, he's like, I promise you, Martha's not going to fucking die. Like, get that cock out of your mouth and tell me what you're saying. And he says that she's not going to die. But that whole scene put through the prism of like, not again. And he fucking goes ape shit, like literally almost killing everybody in the room to save.
I've seen moms die before.
Exactly.
Never on my watch.
Exactly. I don't know. I like that. I like your version of Batman v Superman. We need the Bernardin edition where you're explaining everything.
It'll be an hour and 43 minutes. We're going the other way.
That was fucking beautiful. Well done. All right, so having rewatched the movie now 3 times on home video since I got it, and that's like all 3 hours plus and stuff. Here are my ultimate, if you will, feelings on the movie. The Batman fighty sequences, like the one we just described, unparalleled.
Awesome.
When you look at that shit, even though he's like knifing fuckers, and in the Ultimate Edition, at one point, somebody fucking knifes him. There's some badass shit, dude. Honestly, like the fucking fighting when he saves Clark's mom. whole fucking movie should have been that. Like, it was just insane. It was like watching the cartoon, the animated series. It was like watching Batman move in ways that, like, you've only seen him heretofore move in a video game.
Right.
When they do the Arkham Knight games and they show that shit and like fucking shoots a cord and yanks a motherfucker, punches him in the face as he lands. Like all those boss stages in, you know, Injustice, Gods Among Us, where you do a special move and fucking, that's what it looked, that fluid, that smooth, the fighting. So I rewatched that shit a fucking bunch, man. It was badass. And then the other thing I really liked that I've rewatched, I'm trying to think of the shit that made me go back and rewatch couple times. The Wonder Woman sequence.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of, you know, I'm not going to be like, it's fucking flawless, but it is so fun, and you wish like more of that, less of everything else. Like, it's so intense. Once that music kicks in, perfect music cue for her, and the joy of the fight, and like watching the Trinity get together, man, watching her like use the magic lasso and shit like that, where you're like, ah! Like, I'm not going to lie, dude, as I watched it on my big screen TV, like earlier this morning, I rolled a tear during that fucking sequence. Like, but it wasn't like, oh my God, they've positioned it so emotionally. I was just like, wow, my whole life. Like, you know.
It's kind of what I wanted.
You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, like, holy shit. And she's just so fucking fearless, and like, she cuts the motherfucker's hand off. Like, and in that one moment where he like beats her ass into the ground, and she fucking like hits the car, and she fucking shakes it off, and she's like, you prick, and then heads back at him. Shit's gold. That shit's gold, man. Like, he definitely should have been in charge of large sections of that movie, Zack Snyder, because he got that like right. That was really cool. Batman fighting was fucking right. But I think my biggest, like, now I've watched the movie a bunch, like my biggest complaint, and this will never be changed, is and this is, maybe I'm old school, I can't stand that Lex Luthor knows who everybody is.
Yeah, and he just figured it out. He thought about some stuff and figured
Honestly,
it out.
I don't give a shit if he's a super genius or if somebody wrote it on a piece of paper or fucking like it was revealed by Steppenwolf. But the fact that fucking Lex Luthor knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
And not just, it's not even like we see him figure it out.
No.
He walks into the movie knowing that Lois Lane and Clark Kent and Superman have a thing.
Yeah.
Like, he never earns that knowledge. He just has that knowledge.
And he tells us this like later on when he's doing the, you know, villain speech and shit, where he's like, all I had to do was do this and write some letters and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I remember the first time I watched the movie, I was like, is he fucking saying that he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman and
Well,
shit?
there's that bit in the extended cut where Perry White, the worst journalist in the world, says,
And look,
listen,
Marc works
I'm a
at the
bad
LA
journalist.
Times.
I know what bad journalists look like.
But he comes from legit world of the press, so you have an insight into
like,
that character. You're allowed to say that he's not a great
Right.
journalist.
So first, I mean, Perry White assigns Clark Kent to sports for a reason beyond surpassing knowledge. But okay, fuck it, whatever. But then he says, all right, so I was going to have you do this other new stuff, but I got a request to send you to the Lex Luthor gala event thing. Not that he assigned him. Like, Perry White is bending to the request of some old socialite lady, which we clearly know is Lex Luthor, who asked for Clark Kent to show up here. Lex Luthor knows that Clark Kent is going to, like, why does Lex know all of this shit?
This version of Lex, he has, like, every once in a while, he fucking references, like, yeah, Superman. But, like, there was...
This version never explains to me why his life is worse for Superman being there.
Yeah.
Like, why do you hate this guy so much, other than him just being Superman?
Yeah.
So tell me what it is. Business version, whatever. I get why Bruce Wayne doesn't like Superman.
Yes.
Like, they make that
I may not
clear.
necessarily, like, agree. That's also, like, minefield. I love Batman. I love Affleck. I love Affleck's Batman. My personal preference for a Batman, little less shitty to others. You know, little. I mean, he's bad to the bad guys, but like, you know, it's weird. I understand the conceit is to, like, they've got to fight, and I understand perfectly the setup. Like I'll almost go with you to a certain point. But the moment like that, he's like, I'm gonna kill this fuck. Moment murder's on the menu. That's, you know, it's just like, well, you know, I understand, like, everyone keeps going, like, it's a Batman who's been doing this for 20 years, man. He's grizzled and shit. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I read The Dark Knight Returns.
I know how that goes.
I can handle a grizzled Batman. I'm not saying I can't, but like, there's no real like, I guess the reason for his escalation where he's like burning criminals and he's just like, we've always been criminals, Alfred. There's nothing changed or anything like that. But I guess he's intensified because of the Superman thing. But like
a hero needs
him
to have
hunting that guy is pretty egregious.
He needs to have a line he won't cross. Like that is what separates the heroes from the villains. There is a moral absolute for you, a thing you won't do. Batman in this version does not have that moral absolute. And then it's I am a criminal. I am a vigilante. I am everything that I say that I hate.
Yeah.
So then how is that guy somebody I'm going to root for?
But and everyone says online that, you're an idiot. That's the fucking thing. Like, that's the story, is his redemption. He's a guy who fucking lost the faith, and at the end of the movie, he gets the faith again. And I got that too.
I mean, I get that too, but if it's going to be Death Wish, then I need to see that dude before he has the Death Wish.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is like, they're like, look, in order to give you this movie, we couldn't give you a zillion years of Batman backstory. You know the Batman backstory. Here's enough. Here's all you need. His parents got killed and shit. Moving on. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you needed to see like a bit more of the peacenik Batman before he's branding people.
Yeah, like we need to see the thing that pushes him over the edge, and it can't just be like as spoken. Like, oh yeah, no, he's pissed off because he's been doing this for 20 years and it's gotten bad. Like I get that it goes bad. I get that there's a Batman who is pushed to the brink.
Right.
But I got to see what he was like before the brink.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. And it sounds like we're going to see what he's like after the brink in Justice League, which we'll talk about in a second. I don't regret buying this and watching it as many times as I have. My old lady the other day was just like, how many times are you going to watch this? And I was like, until I fucking love it.
It's going to work on me, I swear.
It's going to fucking happen. I'm going to love it. But I'm telling you, man, like the Wonder Woman stuff is wonderful. I mean, for lack of a better word. And the Batman stuff is when he's, in the third act, it's on point. Once he's fucking done hating.
Right.
And I do like that opening sequence. I think it's pretty powerful stuff. And I think it was very clever to like, this fits into this moment of that movie. And we can kind of go back and here's Bruce from the ground watching, Metropolis fall apart as Zod takes a piece by piece to the ground. That sequence is like wonderful and fucking.
And even added like this row of kids being walked out of the DMZ zone, which was cool. So that one girl's like, "Where's your mommy?" There's a whole field trip full of mommies who didn't make it out of this building.
Yeah, see that makes sense too because there was all of a sudden this one girl in the middle of Gotham going like,
"I've got a doll."
But yeah, they didn't add anything more about. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Did anything pop? I mean, I know there was a lot of like, who's the girl everyone thought she was going to play Batgirl?
Oh, Jenna Malone.
And she turned out to be somebody who works at Star Labs. And she's like, this is Bullet. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, like it's lots of clue path stuff. It's lots of like, here's Lois's investigation into the Bullet. And then here's Clark's investigation into Gotham City weirdness, into like his whole, I'm supposed to cover a sports game, go to Gotham and get the read on the town. And then he tries to find the woman who was testifying on camera about how does Superman choose who to save and who not to save?
And what about that? Like it opens, with the woman is like, he answers to no one, not even God, I think. And you're like, oh my God, the way I saw it in the original cut of the movie, I'm like, this poor woman's village was seriously affected by his intervention in that one scene. I didn't see how, there was no village I saw, but her story is that they got all shitty after Superman left or whatever the fuck. And then somehow tied it into like, this is his fault. And it's a stretch, but they let it go and the movie went on. And then there were other things to think about, bigger fish to fry. But all of a sudden, in this version of the movie, like she's a spy, like she's lying and she gets fucking murdered for it. And like, this shit's like, why wasn't that in the original cut? I'm not crazy.
Luthor's writing her script for the things for her to say on camera. Like, okay.
And then has her fucking killed. Like, that was pretty metal. There's a lot of death in this movie. Like, people get killed left and right. And when they fucking fight at the end, I know, they're very quick to point out, this is abandoned. Strikers Island is abandoned. Nobody's here. Abandoned means no one's going to get hurt. But buildings come down. It becomes kind of disaster porn in the third act. A lot of things get broken and shit. But, man, he like, when he soars, Zack Snyder. Like, there's some shit that's like beautiful, absolutely fucking beautiful. And, but I'm telling you, man, my biggest complaint is always going to be like, if Lex Luthor, if a billionaire knew, if Donald Trump knew Batman's secret, how, like, you know what I'm saying? Even if they sent him to jail for fucking Trump University or whatever the fuck, that would be his get out of jail free card. He's like, here, I'll tell you who Batman is. Yeah. And then you could go get him because he is a hunted vigilante. I know I've done shit too, but this is what you do in the system. You roll over on somebody else. This guy's been committing crimes for 20 fucking years.
Yeah, like I remember reading some...
You know who he is? I'll tell you if you let me out of this jail cell.
Yeah, I remember reading one criticism that said, I would buy this Lex Luthor better if he was like a crazy fundamentalist Christian. Like if he was
that's a great idea.
If he was like a religious fanatic, and then all of this like gods and demons and against the will of the Bible and outside of Scripture, and then Batman as this person who's absolutely against the tenets of the faith and an alien, like all of that. Then the hate, the derision, all of that makes sense. But just to be like a rich kid whose daddy hated him, that's why.
Yeah, I'm with you. That would have been hot, man. If he was just like religious from
like
the
it's a
jump.
battle of faith. Like then I get it.
And then he is threatened by this guy because he's like, this is a god. This guy threatens my belief in Jesus because Jesus can't do what this. Jesus didn't have heat vision. How am I supposed to sell Jesus to my
audience? As far as we know. I had some people online who were like, you should watch the extended cut. It will explain everything.
I saw that a few times myself.
And I kept on feeling like, listen, if you have to explain the punchline of a joke to me, it's not a good joke. The joke didn't work. Like the theatrical cut as written, like that's your movie. Tell me your movie. Don't wait for me to see the stuff you didn't want me to see at first to have it make sense.
There was a lot of that when the movie was in theaters. Like, you don't understand, man. It's dark side. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I get that because I read the comics, but like.
I took my kid. No idea what any of that was. Even watching the extended cut. Like when you see like Lex in the belly of that Kryptonian ship and there's a figure standing over him that's clearly supposed to be Darkseid. Steppenwolf, sorry. He's not going to know who that is. Yeah. I barely knew who that was, and I read the comics.
That's true. It's like even if you watch the animated series a lot and you were like, oh, Darkseid, he's the big bad from space. Steppenwolf's is deep cut.
Yeah.
Like that's lean cuts of the meat that not a lot of people will understand. And from what I understand, that's their villain in Justice League.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah, I mean,
okay, sure.
It's a choice, and I get it. Well, I mean, I get it if Justice League was meant to be a two-parter, which is what they said for a long, long time. But recently, they sent a bunch of press to the Justice League set in England. Well, I was over there. I wish I'd known. I would have went to the fucking set. I'm sure they would have been like, Mr. Affleck doesn't want you here, so I would have been shown the fucking door. But they let journalists on set that didn't like the movie.
Yeah, they were very careful to sort of court the it was the charm offensive, basically.
Explain.
Which was, listen, we get that you guys specifically were shitty about this movie on the internet. Come and see what we're doing now. Come and see that we listened to you.
That all being said, the word come back. The word that they purchased is shit's good.
Or it's lighter.
Shit's been righted.
We realized that the tone was too dark. We're changing it.
I'm all for that, dude. Like
however we get there, I'm happy they got there.
Fucking A, because having sat through this movie a few more times, like it is like egregiously fucking negative and dark. Like even right down to shit like, Lex Luthor's like, we're gonna kill Martha if you don't fight and shit like that. And the KG Beast, who's the guy who's like got his mom there, like at one point Lex is like, we're gonna best. What do you do with the mother of a flying demon as a witch? What do you do with a witch? You burn her and shit. Putting a bullet in her head is just as fucking fine. But they literally show the motherfucker putting on the flamethrower, which as a guy who grew up reading KG Beast comics, like what was it? 4 Nights of the Beast, 5 Nights of the Beast. I forget what that storyline was. But I was there for the inception of the character and stuff. It was like, oh, that's kind of fucking cool to see like the cruelty already. But again, this is a kid's movie, kind of. Like, and the guy literally sparks a and has the fucking blow to her. It's like near her head. This woman, this older woman, like it's just crazy. And you're like, but then I guess they're like, well, that justifies Batman's serious fucking beatdown. Like, because he comes in and fucking neuters everybody. And in the ultimate cut, he pushes like a guy who stabs him. He's like, he pulls the knife out, and he fucking marches the dude back to the wall and stabs him into the wall to pin him, kicks a few more asses, but then comes back to the dude with the knife in his shoulder. And I don't know what happened, because it's under the frame, but he's all close to him and shit. And all of a sudden he's like, "Ugh," and the guy's like, "Ah," and then they cut away. I think what they're saying is he punched him in the balls, point blank.
Yeah.
That's the only way to read that scene. Like, I don't know what else is being communicated except he was like, and honestly, I respected it because he's like, you fucking knifed me, and I knifed you back, and then I had to go beat somebody up, but I didn't forget you fucking knifed me, and this is what you get for knifing me. And he fucking like grabs his nuts and rips them off or something. Maybe you don't rip them off.
You bring a gun.
Oh my God.
It's the Chicago way.
He punched him to death in the balls.
Cock punch.
And I would imagine that was something I've always wanted. But in the moment I was watching it, I was like, I don't know if I want to see this.
Batman's punching people in the balls.
He was fucking metal, dude. He was such a fucking good fighter and shit. They were represented well. In the behind the scenes footage, they show you how they shoot that shit, and it's so weird because in a lot of moments he's not wearing a cape at all, and they have the cape later on. You have to. You have to these days. It's all ball bearings these days now. Okay, so in the Ultimate Edition, also, if you look on the behind the scenes stuff, you'll see more footage of Cyborg. You see more footage of Aquaman. Not more footage, but the shooting of that footage, really. Are there? Well, I mean, all the deleted scenes are contained in the movie. Yeah, there he is, man. There's Cyborg. Kind of creepy that they were only able to save the head and torso. Look at that shit. Look at that in the daylight, dude. That literally looks like. Could you imagine seeing that in real life?
If I looked like that, I would have my shirt off all the time.
I can, dude. I'd be
All
wearing
the
little
fucking
bits
time.
of. I'd wear armor like him, but only a little piece over my dick. The rest of my body would be on display, and they'd
Pretty
be like,
much.
"What's under that thimble?" I'd be like, "You know." You know, something small.
My trident.
This is my teaspoon. So, Justice League report from the set, Mark,
Yes.
is that the tone, as you said, has been lightened. There's a describing of a scene between Bruce Wayne and I want to say Wally West, but it's Barry Allen. Why they didn't make it Wally West? But it's
Because
Barry Allen.
they don't love us.
Because reasons, yeah, pretty much. But the scene sounded fun, and you know,
like here's the thing.
it's so weird that like everybody's like, you know, we're what, a year more away from this movie, and everyone's like, it's gonna be fine.
We got it. We figured it out, you guys.
People, you will believe a man can smile. Thank you. That's old school.
Nice job. But yeah, I mean, and here's a great thing that you could do with this Bruce Wayne is he could absolutely be the straight man to everybody else because he's so fucking grim and so humorless. How you make that work is you add humor. You had your Barry Allens, you add your Vic Stones, you add these characters who have some sense of life and joy.
Let everybody make a joke except him.
Yeah,
Like in the cartoon.
totally. But they didn't
I wonder
do
if he
that.
would play that. Affleck would never let that happen. The Affleck I know would be like, what? Everyone else gets to be funny and I have to be the straight man?
I'm that guy.
What am I, suddenly Matt Damon? Fuck this noise. Yeah, I can't imagine.
No, you're
it's
Johnny
Stanford.
Carson. You're the guy who just serves up the underhand softballs.
But it's so true. And like, honestly, like that would be a fun way to do it too.
Yeah.
Everyone gets to shine and you get to be like, that's what.
You're already
remember
the black hole of the
Justice
cinema
League
universe.
International, JLI, and Kevin, what's his name? Two dudes.
McGuire.
And Giffen and Maguire's fucking league. Their Batman was like fucking serious as a heart attack.
One punch.
Yes. Oh my God, he fucking punched out Guy Gardner. We still talk about it. It didn't even happen to us in high school. It happened on a page and we still talk about it. But it was pitch perfect because he was so the Dark Knight and everybody else around him was like having a good time. And so it made him even more enjoyable. I hope they do that in Justice
Yeah,
League.
like he should
I hope
be-
they don't make him a Joker too.
No, because God, you don't want that. You need that dude to be like the black center of gravity that everything revolves around. And you always know he's there. You always know he's affecting everything. But he doesn't have to crack a joke to get a laugh. And that's the key. If they do that, then we win. If it's just a lot of, Martha, why do you say that name?
They'll never mention that name again.
No.
That's what if I was on that junket, I would have been like, you played a Martha card again this time? They'd hear back double quick. No.
No, there's no Marthas
We get
anywhere.
it. Yeah, no, she's dead now.
we wrote a virus to kill all the Marthas in this universe, so there's no more Marthas.
I will say this, though, as I watched that sequence, like it bordered on moving. You know, almost there. Like I saw what they were going for. You know, so many people on Twitter were like, "You don't get it. It's not just because they're fucking both their moms are named Martha." I'm like, I got that. I understood that. But his turnaround is like,
like he's just staggered by the revelation of a name.
yeah, or that
He like backs up. Like,
this thing that looks like a man, talks like a man, walks like a man, and just happens to be a little more powerful. Like, you know, he's like, it must die. It can't be human. It's an animal. Like, you know, when he's giving him the shit about, like, you were never a man. The men are brave. And Paul, he carries him by his fucking hair and shit. He's so unnecessarily brutal. And it's not until, you know, Lois Lane's like, he had a mother, that suddenly the guy's like, oh my God,
shit,
you're right.
really?
Oh, I'm the asshole. Oh, I'm Joe Chill. Fuck.
God damn it.
But anyway, it sounds like fucking in the next movie, none of that.
You know, and I think that this was also part of the Jeff Johns being promoted to like the co-head of DC Films.
Amen, dude. Because that's it feels like their reaction to, and when I say they, I guess the Warner Bros. Reaction to studio, the motion picture studio, reaction to Batman v Superman was to finally let the guy who knows the most about all this stuff, who's on the payroll and in the credits of your movie, you know, be like, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Right.
Maybe we should do this.
He shouldn't have to be the guy barking in the corner, being like, guys, I know what to do here. It's
Yes.
like, it's okay, we got it.
It sounds like after the movie came out, they were like, we get it. You're Kevin Feige. Go.
Right.
And, you know, it feels, and that's the guy you want. Like, honestly, the reason I love The Flash as much as I do is because he did something to that character's backstory. He gave that character a backstory. He did the same thing with Hal Jordan. He was a big Hal Jordan fan and the Green Lantern Corps and stuff. He's loved DC forever, man. So Jeff has done amazing work on getting these characters to a place where he can sit there, I've seen him do it a number of times, and talk about what's special about each in terms of, like, you know, it's not just like, hey, they're all a bunch of superheroes. They'll sit there and break it down where he's like, Flash allows you to do time travel stories. It allows you to do multi-dimensional stories. So the canvas you can draw on is massive. Batman allows you to do, you know, urban crime. Superman allows you to do, like, you know, Jesus with a cape and in space. Wonder Woman allows you to do the same thing, but, you know,
like mythology. Like
mythology, and brings you into that fucking world. And Green Lantern brings you into space. So, like, he's so eloquent about all this DC stuff and all these characters. Let the boy in. And it seems like that's what's happened now, because he's over there. He's been over in London quite a bit and stuff. And, you know, last time I was like, he's writing the movie with Affleck. And that became a news story. But I thought everybody knew that because it was in the press before. Right. But I guess nobody paid attention. They're like, oh my God, confirmation. And I was
Kevin
like,
knows a thing.
It was confirmed because I read it in your news report. But it sounds like, you know, Jeff's deep into that too. It just sounds right. Everything about this sounds right. If you got some dude that if you had to pick somebody to be in charge of all this, that's your man. And that's the dude who's going to fucking give you, like, we go to see the Justice League movie, we're going to be like, that's going to be...
It will at least feel right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, I mean, whatever else issues I might have had with Batman v Superman, it was that it didn't feel right. Like, I'm okay with movies that aren't, like, the best movie ever in the world.
That's why we're friends.
Yeah.
Because I don't make those.
But at least, you know, it needs to feel like it's the right thing. Or like you knew what you were trying to make going in. Any number of errors can happen in execution, but going in, you got to feel like, all right, that feels like a Captain America movie. That feels like a Batman movie. That feels like a Superman movie. You know what that should feel like. And when it doesn't, that's when the audience kind of turns.
This felt like a Wonder Woman movie in the last
like
half hour.
That was the bit you're excited about.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, bring me more of that.
It was cool, man. It was really cool. And they showed in the behind-the-scenes footage some movie footage of Wonder Woman, the movie as well.
Can't wait.
Some fighty and some also, like, I'm in the 20s or whatever the fuck. But yeah, so their DC universe is just getting bigger and bigger. Next up, Squad. There's some Suicide Squad footage too on the Ultimate Edition Blu-ray, which is well worth your time. Look, you love this shit, you gotta support this shit, man. I don't mean that like medicine and shit. Some people get shitty about that. They're like, fuck you, I don't have to do nothing. Fine. I'm not talking to you. And also, don't let a stranger tell you what to do. But as a fan of this stuff, I bought it digitally, man. I bought it months ago when they put it up on iTunes, and then bang, I got it on the day. They've got on the DVD, on the Blu-ray, apparently, my DC
Oh yeah, your
thing with Jeff Johns as well.
Hall of Justice tour.
Yes, bitch, yes. So that's there as well. So go out and get it, man, because we all wanted these movies, and now they're happening.
Yeah, I mean, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, we're getting them, right? Like, and that's what we've always wanted. I mean, even if they're bad.
They're putting that on the fucking...
Good, bad, and different. It's a movie.
That's on the Justice League tagline. Good, bad, or different. You're getting this movie. I'm excited for that movie, man. I don't need no fucking people go over to England and be like, yeah, I vouch for it and shit. Look, we're all self-correcting animals on this planet. You know, they looked at, there was a lot of fucking people bitching. And they were like, okay, this is a mainstream product. Like, a lot of people bitch about Tusk or Yoga Hosers. I don't have to do shit, because it's like, you don't have to see this. It's not part of your fucking homework or anything like that. When you are working with these characters, you're like, you gotta get everybody.
It's nerd homework. We all have to see it.
Oh, there's rules and stuff. And so, you know, apparently, I got that right away. I don't even have to hear from anybody to know that, like, everybody behind closed doors was probably like, all right, well, next time let's have a little more fun. And they're smart to do that, man. And now they got fucking Jeff insurance, so it's all good. And it sounds like the footage that's coming out of fucking England so far,
they're happy with. So yeah.
Watch Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, man. If you buy the digital version, I imagine you buy the Blu-ray version, they give you both. You get the theatrical cut and the fucking 18-hour cut as well. Get it, watch it, man. Make up your own mind and stuff. But I'm telling you, the thing that I've gravitated to over and over again is the Wonder Woman sequence. As soon as Wonder Woman gets in, it's like, and Batman also saving Clark's mom. There's some really good stuff in this movie. A lot of people were like, ooh, fuck it. There's some good stuff in this movie, man. Go and enjoy it at home. You could pause and go do other things and then come back. I love to consume movies that way, man.
You could not pause, go and do other things, and come back, and it'll still be playing.
Marc. Stop it, Marc Bernardin. But you're absolutely right. You could do that as well. There it is, folks. That's all we're talking about for this week. For Fat Man, I'm Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
Marc Bernardin.
Come back next week. Same fat time, same fat channel. Where is that?
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Or Smodcast.com.
Either or.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor, click that thing below that says subscribe. Every time you click that, you save a baby kitten from murder.